The green industry is now worth $34 trillion and is supposedly going to be the planet's biggest savior from the climate crisis. But if you did not know, a huge number of so-called eco-friendly claims come with absolutely no specific data behind them. And this happens because many companies spend more on expensive advertising than they actually invest in real green initiatives. And what makes this even more shocking is that the certifications they show off are often self-issued instead of coming from independent auditors. And what frustrates me the most is that France had to create an entire anti-greenwashing law with massive fines because this deception got completely out of hand. So, out of every brand you have trusted as eco-friendly, how many actually proved it, and how many were just selling you a sweet lie? We break down everything in this video, so stay with us until the end.
Our planet is dying. And I'm not saying this just to be dramatic. There are numbers behind this, and the numbers are what made me stop talking for a moment. The WHO recorded 13 million deaths per year caused by environmental factors that are actually preventable. Dirty air pollution, unsafe drinking water, 13 million. Divide that across a year into days, that means around 35,000 people die every single day simply because of environmental damage. Is that number real? 35,000 a day? That is more than the COVID death toll during its worst year. And this happens every single year, quietly, without a major headline the way a pandemic would get. NASA recorded the 10 hottest years in modern recorded history, and all 10 of them happened within the last 15 years, not spread out randomly across history, concentrated entirely in this most recent period. If global temperatures rise another 2 degrees Celsius in the coming years, and this is not even the worst-case scenario, this is a very realistic scenario if emissions are not curbed. The effects are not just strange weather. It means deadly heat waves, mass crop failures around the world, and rising sea levels slowly swallowing coastal cities. But what is truly concerning is not the crisis itself. This crisis has been known since the 1970s through independent research reports on the limits of global growth, 50 years ago. And there are internal oil industry documents from that same era, later revealed to the public, showing that those companies knew exactly what the impact of carbon emissions would be on the global climate, yet still funded organized climate denial campaigns for decades afterward. They were not ignorant. They knew. They simply chose silence for the sake of short-term corporate profit. So the question is no longer whether this crisis is real or not. The question is, how much time was deliberately wasted and how many human lives were put at stake during those 5 decades of denial? It is genuinely outrageous when you think about it carefully.
Now I want to follow the money, because when it comes to the green industry, the most important question is not about good intentions, it is about who actually profits from all of this. The 2 largest asset managers on the planet, BlackRock and Vanguard, manage a combined total of tens of trillions of dollars. Over the past few years, they have funneled a significant portion of that capital into various ESG-based investment products. ESG itself stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. In simple terms, it is a rating system that measures whether a company is considered environmentally friendly, socially responsible, and well-governed. Global investment in sustainable products is projected to exceed $34 trillion in 2026. $34 trillion. That is larger than the combined GDP of China and Japan. Not millions, not billions, trillions with 12 digits behind it. This is one of the fastest-growing economic sectors in modern economic history. There are 3 parties sharing this pie. Ordinary people save money through electric vehicles and solar panels, plus new business opportunities like recycling startups. Companies earn large profits because 78% of consumers now consider environmentally friendly an important factor when buying products, and 60% are even willing to pay more for sustainable packaging. Governments receive funding from international financial institutions for low-carbon programs plus new job creation. Sounds like everyone wins, right? Win, win, win. But this is what makes me suspicious. The two largest asset managers on the planet have already redirected trillions of dollars into ESG funds. And once a flow of money this large exists, the question becomes, who controls a money flow this massive and for whose actual benefit? What I find even more baffling is that some of the largest ESG rating agencies are actually paid by the very companies they're rating. Technically legal, but logically, well, you can judge that one yourself. A conflict of interest that is rarely discussed openly. And some of the largest ESG funds in the world still hold significant shares in oil and gas companies, yet remain labeled sustainable without any issue. How does that logic even work? It genuinely confuses me. You invest in oil but still get a green stamp that ordinary consumers trust without asking too many questions. Quite a comfortable position to be in.
Okay. This is the chapter that makes me the most emotional because this is not theory. These are real cases that have actually happened and are widely documented. Case number 1. A few years ago, a giant fast food company, let's just refer to it by the initials McDonald's, switched from plastic straws to paper straws. The campaign was massive, marketed as a revolutionary, environmentally friendly solution. But the reality, those paper straws still could not be recycled at existing standard recycling facilities. A giant campaign with an almost non-existent real impact. Good grief, that was not a solution. That was just branding, sold at a high price through advertising. A complete waste. But what truly left me speechless is the case of one of the world's oil giants. Let's refer to the company by the initials Shell. They ran a massive campaign about a zero-emission target and a transition to renewable energy. The advertising was slick, the narrative was touching, the visuals were all green. But reports showed this company allocated only around 1% of its total investment toward renewable energy. 1%! Let me repeat that, just 1%. The remaining 99% still went toward fossil fuels as usual. That is complete nonsense, isn't it? That was not an energy transition. That was an energy performance, very neatly packaged. And this is not a one-off incident that can be excused as a simple communication mistake. The European Union has already fined several major companies for carbon-neutral claims that turned out to be inaccurate after deeper auditing. Research from an independent institution found that around 60% of greenery environmentally friendly claims in Europe and America are misleading or have no solid basis whatsoever. 6 out of every 10 green claims you see every day inaccurate or only half accurate. And the term greenwashing itself has been in use since 1986. 40 years this problem has existed, and it continues to repeat itself to this day without any meaningful consequence for those responsible at all.
If you think greenwashing is just a problem with the two brands I mentioned in the previous chapter, you are deeply mistaken. This is a pattern occurring across almost every major industry sector around the world, and the scale is far larger than most people have ever realized. The fast fashion industry claims to have sustainable collections, yet continues mass-producing clothing with massive textile waste without any pause whatsoever. Major banks claimed they fund the green transition through large campaigns, but behind the scenes still fund new coal mining projects of equally significant value. Developed nations claim they have ambitious net zero targets, yet continue exporting coal technology and investment to developing nations. Now this right here, this is the real trick. An ESG risk research institution recorded more than 2,000 global greenwashing cases detected since 2009. 2,000 cases! And the sectors that do this most frequently are energy, fashion, banking, and automotive. 4 sectors that, ironically, are also the ones that put up green advertising everywhere most often. Quite a dark irony when you think about it more deeply. But what I cannot stop thinking about is a deeper pattern beyond this. Developing nations often become the dumping ground for projects that fail to meet environmental standards in developed countries. Developed nations export their pollution, neatly wrapped as technology transfer or development cooperation that sounds incredibly noble on paper. Developing nations get new factories and new jobs, but they also get the waste and pollution that was already rejected in its country of origin. Some activists call this carbon colonialism. The pollution is not eliminated, it is simply relocated to places with fewer voices and less political or economic power to fight back. Day after day, there is always some new strategy being cooked up.
Okay, before I close, there is one important thing I need to say to be fair. Not every green project is a scam. Many genuinely deliver real benefits. Truly, truly. Solar energy and electric vehicles have been proven in independent studies to genuinely and significantly reduce carbon emissions. Yes, there is still pollution from mining the materials for their batteries, but it is reasonably worth it. So this is not about telling you to be suspicious of everything labeled green. This is about you needing to know how to tell the difference between what is real and what is just expensive branding. That is all. The method is actually simple once you know the trick. First, if a claim has no specific data or clear numbers, that is a warning sign. Environmentally friendly without any numbers is just empty talk. It turns out it is that easy to get fooled if you're not careful. Second, check the company's financial reports. Compare what they shout about in their advertising against what the actual investment allocation they put out. If what they say is huge, but their budget is pocket change, well, that answer speaks for itself. It is genuinely frustrating when a company talks big, but their budget only covers making the advertisement itself. Third, independent certification is far more trustworthy than self-made certification. B Corp certification and Carbon Trust are credible examples because they are audited by outside parties, not self-declared. And what gives me a little optimism, France has already begun implementing anti-greenwashing laws with very substantial fines. Global regulation on this issue is likely to become stricter going forward. Good. Finally, someone is taking this seriously. This green industry is worth $34 trillion. $34 trillion. It has the power to genuinely save the planet, but it also has the power to deceive billions of people through extremely sophisticated and extremely expensive campaigns. The future of our planet will most likely not be determined by who shouts the loudest about the environment, but by who is the most honest with their data. So, I want to ask you, out of all the brands you have trusted as environmentally friendly all this time, how many have actually been proven and how many were just sweet promises? That is all from me. If you have anything to add, please write it in the comments. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.